what's happening around the world
and what's happening here at home. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Tiffany De Silva.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Ranil and Sajid should unite. Cannot agree with decision to contest separately, says Thalata while announcing decision to resign as a member of parliament.
මේ ජනාධිපතිවරණයේදී අපි ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න නම් අපි එකතු වී මිස වෙන් වී තරග කිරීම ප්‍රායෝගික නොවන බව මාගේ විශ්වාසයයි. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතා අපට එකතු වෙන්න කියා දිගින් දිගටම ආරාධනා කරද්දී සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහතා ඒක ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කළේ ඇයි කියන එක මට හිතා ගන්න බැහැ.
SLPP Matara District Parliamentarian Karunadasa Kodituaku crosses over to the opposition in support of Sajid. Ali Zahir Maulana and Wadivel Suresh appointed non-cabinet ministers. Decentralized budgetary allocations of MPs who do not support Ranil slashed, an allegation from the opposition. An end to political crossovers, Anura assures in Gampola. Namal holds inaugural campaign rally in Anuradhapura.
In today's top story, Samagi Janabalawege MP of the Ratnapura district, Attorney at Law Thalata Atukurala, announced her resignation from her position as Member of Parliament.
In a special statement to the Parliament, SJB MP Thalata Atukurala expressed deep concern over the recent split within the United National Party.
අපේ කඳවුර බෙදිලා දෙන්නෙක් තරග කරන්න ගත් තීරණය සමග මගේ හෘද සාක්ෂියට.
My conscience does not let me agree with the fact that our camp has split into two and there will be two contenders instead of one. I believe that two leaders splitting up and deciding to contest the election separately is very selfish and a decision taken without thinking about the future of the country. History will prove my belief in the near future. If I stay quiet about this any longer, I too will become directly or indirectly involved in this damage. Honourable Speaker, due to this reason, I must take a decision in this regard immediately. I need to set an example for this country and its citizens. I believe my decision will set that example. This decision should be in line with my conscience. It should also not go against the mandate bestowed upon me by the people of Ratnapura or affect their future. I have absolutely no issue with letting go of my parliamentary seat. This party split became a reality when many of us broke off from the UNP in 2020 to form the Samagi Janabalawege. We did not expect to see any party split. By 2020, the opinion that the leadership of the UNP needed to change is what ultimately led to many of us leading the UNP to join the newly formed SJB. That is when the UNP, which faced any challenge that came its way without splitting for 73 years, split for the first time. SWR Bandaranaike could not do it in 1951. In 1991, neither Gamini Disanayake nor Lalit Athulat Mudali could split the UNP. However, Sajid Premadasa succeeded in 2020. However, although we saw leaving the UNP as a big feat, I now have the question of why we could not solve the problem we had without splitting the UNP. Although I was also one of the MPs who left the UNP in 2020, I was not too happy about it leading to a party split. The question of whether I too contributed to the split of a superpower in the political arena seemed to burden me a lot. That pain outweighed the happiness of holding a parliamentary seat. The question I was asking myself was not if it will be Ranil or Sajid winning the 2024 election. It was if they will contest separately or join forces. In 2020, I left the UNP with a lot of trust and hope in Sajid Premadasa. Therefore, I must say that we have no personal issue with each other. I believe that in order to achieve victory at this year's election, we should join forces. It is not practical to contest separately and expect to win. I do not understand why Sajid Premadasa kept refusing to join President Ranil Wickremesinghe even when he kept extending invitations over and over. I sometimes wonder if Sajid Premadasa is in a hurry to become president. However, history has given us answers to that question many times in the past. We have a past where our own leaders have proven the importance of patience. We must learn a lesson at least now. J.R. Jayawardena was one of the most prominent figures of our parent party. He assumed power in 1971. The UNP was formed in 1947. However, he waited 30 years to assume party leadership. Patience is a very important virtue in politics. Some do not care what the people of the country have to say about how mature or immature they are. Honourable Speaker, yes, the goal is to become president. However, one must think if the timing is right, the state of the country, the damage that would occur if the plan goes wrong, and if the damage can be recovered. There seems to have been no such assessment done here. To say the least, it seems like they have not even thought if they possess the qualities needed to become president. Except for a very immature plan of creating artificial force to acquire power, there is no arrangement to secure that power. That is not new to our country. This was proven right in front of our eyes by Gotabaya Rajapaksa. It was fascinating to see how Gotabaya Rajapaksa dug his own grave by creating an artificial wave, bankrupted the country and let down the people of the country. Get to know Gotabaya's story today itself, not the book he wrote. Get to know the truth behind his downfall. During this emotional moment of me stepping down from my parliamentary seat, I'd like to divert your attention towards several issues. We keep wondering how the JVP, which started off with 3%, is not a major power camp, and how the UNP, which used to be the most powerful political party, is not split into two. What went wrong had nothing to do with party policies, but issues with party leadership due to the lack of centralized democracy. However, he is now the president of the country. The Rajapaksa family has now left him. They are contesting separately. When nature itself removed all obstacles and presents us victory on a silver platter, why do we refuse it? The accusation made against Ranil was that he was dealing with the crooks. They kept saying he was protecting thieves and running a government with them. What happens then? The crooks who jumped the ship when their ship was sinking have now joined the SJB. There is another side to this. The initial members of the SJB who shed their blood, sweat and tears worked with Sajith Premadasa right from the loss in 2019 are now getting cornered due to the arrival of these crooks into the party. This has disappointed all of us. Another joke is how those who fought against each other are now desperately clinging to the SJB. I must tell Sajith Premadasa that all those who are pushing the party into the abyss do not have the aim of making him the president. They simply want to secure a parliamentary seat at the next parliamentary election. I want him to understand that. Sri Lanka Podujana Perumal's Matara District Member of Parliament Karunadasa Kodituaku made a special announcement in Parliament today as he crossed over to the opposition.
At this time, the people elected me because they had faith in the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna, believing that we would make a big transformation in our country, protect the law, protect democracy and brighten the future of the nation's children. But those hopes were completely destroyed by our leaders. The mandate of 6.9 million people was entirely shattered. However, since the vote held in Parliament on the 20th of July 2022, Sajith Premadasa, the leader of the opposition, has clearly demonstrated that he will stand for the hopes we have sacredly trusted. He has proven that he has a great vision for development. Therefore, I will take a political decision today in honor of the people of the Matara district and those who contributed to the 6.9 million people's mandate. For the sake of the future of this country, it is my sole hope to support Sajith Premadasa at the upcoming presidential election on behalf of the entrepreneurs who represent me for the country's economy. The current regime, which is leading to the destruction of the state, must be unconditionally defeated. Therefore, to the people of Akurasa and Matara district who believe in me at this critical time, I express my heartfelt gratitude. It is my only hope to keep their trust forever. For that reason, from now on, I will leave the ruling party in Parliament and, for the sake of the country's future, join the Samagi Jana Sandhana led by Sajith Premadasa and dedicate myself to work and appoint him as the executive president of this country.
MPs Vadivel Suresh and Ali Zahir Maulana were sworn in as non-cabinet ministers today. Vadivel Suresh was sworn in as State Minister of Labour. Ali Zahir Maulana was sworn in as non-cabinet Minister of Development Projects. The MPs took oath before President Ranil Wickremesinghe this evening.
A joint media briefing was held in Colombo today, organised by Muslim MPs supporting President Ranil Wickremesinghe. During the briefing, the MPs justified their decision to support the president.
இன்று ஒவ்வொரு
The President has created an environment where each parliamentarian can return to their respective electorates and carry out development activities. Even when we were in the opposition, he supported us when we highlighted matters concerning the people. That is certainly creditable. The people are ready to face the future with certainty, achieving all milestones along the way. We have stepped forward to support Ranil Wickremesinghe's leadership, the man who brought back the belief in us to live on this land. We too could have supported the winning cause, similar to Rishad Badiuddin and other party leaders, but that was not our thinking. We decided to back Ranil Wickremesinghe with the country's best interest at heart. Many believe Rishad Badiuddin has a significant voter base. He wields that fact as a tool to impose conditions on the SJB, on Ranil, everywhere. He probably has put down conditions to Sajith Premadasa now to claim half of the country.
An allegation was raised in Parliament that decentralised budgetary allocations of MPs who do not support Ranil have been slashed.
Prime Minister, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that it is prohibited to use public money for election campaigns during this period. This is wrong and constitutes an illegal and criminal act. As you are aware, the decentralized funds allocated to Rishad Badiuddin were removed because he joined us in the opposition. Meanwhile, 300 million has been allocated to another member of parliament who joined the ruling faction. I request that government officials refrain from committing such an act.
මෙතන මේ ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙන 27 යටතේ ප්‍රශ්න පහක් අහලා තියෙනවා ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මේ කියන කාරණාව මේකේ නැහැ.
රිෂාඩ් බදූර්දීන් මැතිතුමාට
Decentralized funds were allocated to Rishad Badiuddin. Once he joined us, it was slashed. Now 300 million has been allocated for parliamentarian Musharraf. The funds should be used for their intended purposes. However, it appears that the money is being diverted for election purposes, which is illegal. I urge the Election Commission to intervene and stop this unlawful act.
The opposition leader resurfaced this matter when a question was posed under 27(2).
Currently, the government is not operating the paddy purchasing mechanism. This is the dismal state of the nation. Farmers were promised that paddy will be purchased at a reasonable price, but in reality, it isn't happening. Has the government suspended the paddy purchasing mechanism entirely? It must be made clear. Does the government plan to extend the suspension of the Parate law, which the government was forced to suspend as a result of widespread criticism from the opposition and business owners? That law dealt a severe blow to SMEs and the tourism sector. How many properties and assets of SMEs were auctioned off over the past 3 years? How many industries were closed down? What is the extent of support provided by the government to uplift entrepreneurship and innovation in the country? Steps were not taken to restructure the debt of businesses who went to the crib. Does the government have an ongoing program to provide fuel, particularly kerosene and fishing supplies to those in the fisheries sector at a subsidized rate? Shouldn't the government consider starting a water ambulance service exclusively for fisherfolk? If so, what actions have the government taken? What is the government's plan to achieve UN SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation? At a time millions in our country are without clean water, the government is giving handouts to MPs loyal to them in the form of bar licenses, wine stores, fishing licenses, beer licenses and money. But if someone sides with us, funding is slashed. Thereafter, Musharraf is given 300 million. How are they gambling with public funds?
MP SMM Musharraf had this to say.
It is unacceptable for the opposition leader to lie like this in parliament. It seems someone has handed over a script for the opposition leader to read. This is not him. He seems to take whatever he hears and says it out loud to the media and parliament. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa must prove the claim that they gave me 300 million. Where is the document given to Musharraf in the president's office regarding the 300 million? If they can prove it, I am ready to resign from my post as a member of parliament. Otherwise, what will the opposition leader who made this false accusation say to the country and the people? His lies are destructive and he must ask the people for forgiveness. I want to say that I am prepared to apologize if proven wrong.
Forgiveness
Member of Sri Lanka Padujana Peramana Politburo, Milinda Rajapaksa, also expressed views on the matter during the Satana program yesterday.
This first happened to the chairman of the District Development Committee of the Kalutara district, Sanjeeva Edirimanna. As soon as he decided not to support the president, his vehicle was taken back and the funds allocated to him as chairman of his District Development Committee were withdrawn. Next was Nipuna Ranawaka, parliamentarian and chairman of the District Development Committee of Mathara. When he chose not to support the president, his vehicle and provisions were also withdrawn immediately. MPs or District Development Committee chairpersons who do not support the president may find that their vehicles, facilities and allocated funds withdrawn right after they declare their support elsewhere.
Banduralal Bandarigoda was sworn in today to fill the MP position, which became vacant following a court decision that resulted in the loss of Manushanan Ekara's seat through a court order.
In the last general election, Bandarigoda ranked third in the preference list for the Galle district.
I worked in the United National Party under Ranil Wickremesinghe's leadership. We have observed Ranil Wickremesinghe's character for a long period of time. It is not to disrespect him. He has been the leader of the UNP for 30 years. Although he is contesting as an independent candidate, I think he still gives positions to UNP organizers at Sirikota. He was the one who led the United National Party to its current state. If anyone alleges that the party was divided and suggests they should unite, that is a mistake. The time has come for all of us to think with an open mind for the betterment of the people, regardless of party affiliations.
Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara says that attention will be paid to the disciplinary action taken by Sajith Premadasa concerning the recent altercation between MP Palani Digambaram and MP Velukumar on the summer program which aired on Shakti TV.
MPs Velukumar and Palani Digambaram, both elected under the Tamil Progressive Alliance or TPA, banned in the last general election, found themselves at odds over recent political realignments on the summer program on Shakti TV yesterday.
Jeffrey. Please, இந்த ப்ரோகிராமுக்கு வந்திருக்கீங்க. இந்த நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு வந்திருக்கீங்க.
இவர் மட்டும் சொல்லுவாரு. நாங்க சொன்னா இவருக்கு இது. இவர் மட்டும் சொல்லுவாரு.
திகம்பரம் உட்காருங்க.
இவர் மட்டும் சொல்லுவாரு.
இது வேண்டாம். அண்ணே.
திகம்பரம்.
எங்கட ப்ரோகிராமுக்கு வந்திருக்கீங்க. நீங்களே தேவையில்லாத சண்டை பிடிக்கிறீங்க.
Firstly, we condemn the attack which took place. Also, we believe that a proper investigation will be conducted on this attack and justice will be served. Further, something that opposition leader and the leader of the Samagijana Balvega and Samagijana Sandhana, Sajith Premadasa, constantly says is that anyone who does not behave ethically will be penalized despite their titles. This is a good opportunity for Sajith Premadasa to make the people aware of this situation and the disciplinary action he intends to take before the presidential election.
This is Samagijana Balvega MP Mujibur Rahman's response to Kanchana Wijesekara's statement.
Firstly, you should address the actions of Kanchana Wijesekara. When Speaker Karu Jayasuriya was present, people supporting Kanchana damaged the speaker's chair, broke the table and threw chairs on the floor. Therefore, he has no moral right to comment on what happened yesterday. They did not allow the speaker to sit, poured water on the chair, threw chili powder on it and vandalized the speaker's table. The person responsible for this was the said minister. If that is the case, then those responsible should be remanded for damaging public property. Ranil Wickremesinghe did not allow such cases to be filed at the time. I don't believe they had the moral authority to discuss it. I do not agree with the incident that happened yesterday. As members of parliament, we should act more responsibly. I think the former minister Digambaram became too emotional.
MP Shaq Rahman, who tried to mediate the conflict between the two MPs, had this to say.
මමත් එතන හිටියේ. මම තමයි ගහගස්සු දෙන්නාම බේරාගත්තේ. ඒවා එතන මමත් බොහොම හිතේ වේදනාවක් ඇති වුණා. ඒ වෙලාවදී වෙච්ච සිද්ධිය ගැන.
ජනතාවට මොන වගේ ආදර්ශයක් වෙයිද?
ජනතාවට ඉතින් මෙහෙමයි 225 දෙනා අපි කවුද කියලා ඔප්පු කරලා පෙන්නුවා එච්චරයි. අපි 225 දෙනා ගැන තමයි ඔප්පු කරුවේ.
This is the response of the leader of the Tamil Progressive Alliance.
I must express my disappointment about the incident that occurred between Deputy Leader of the Tamil Progressive Alliance, Nuwara District MP, former Minister Palani Digambaram, and the parliamentarian who was with us all this time but jumped ship to the government the day before yesterday. On the other hand, I also feel some anger. I am saddened because Digambaram is a normal citizen of this country. He is the son of an estate worker in Madakumburavatta, Kotmale, which is in the Nuwara district. There is nothing to hide there. He got angry because he was being accused, even though he was someone who started this journey from the bottom. That person provoked him on purpose. He provokes Digambaram. It ended with a conflict. Who was behind this individual? The government. That is why he did it. He provoked Digambaram. That is the reason behind this conflict.
NPP Executive Committee member Jagat Manwara had this to say.
Did you see the brawl between Palani Digambaram and Velukumar yesterday? They take the votes of the people who worked tirelessly in tea plantations, enduring sun and rain, and then go to parliament to sell those votes to one party after another. They pocket the rewards and forget about those people until the next election. Am I right? Workers are requested to vote again, claiming that they will be given 1,700 rupees. It is absurd. If you saw the brawl yesterday, you would understand that people are attempting to do their politics through intimidation. The people of this country are becoming increasingly aware of this. Day by day, they are revealing what kind of people they truly are.
Strengthening the people, fighting for the truth, leading a nation, forging the future. Newsfirst, with the people.
For a rich country, Rata Anurata, Jatika Jana Balavegaya. Tamil Pintaru Vedamulu Maha Pradarshaniya. NVQ සහතිකලාභී වෘත්තීය පින්තාරු ශිල්පියෙක් ශිල්පිනියක් වීමට ඔබත් අදම එක්වන්න. විස්තර හා ව්‍යාපදිංචි වීමට අමතන්න 0777 6040. ජැට් පින්තාරු අභිමාන දේශීය දෙව් පින්තාරුකරණයේ උන්නතිය උදෙසා. For a rich country, රට අනුරට ජාතික ජන බලවේගය.
Welcome back. Former Western Provincial Councillor Jayantha De Silva has passed away at the age of 78 and he died this morning while undergoing treatment at the National Hospital.
Jayantha De Silva, a distinguished social worker and seasoned politician in the Colombo district, made significant contributions through the Prajna Pradeepa program. He was instrumental in providing free school books to children from low-income families in the Colombo district. Jayantha De Silva began his political journey with the United National Party in 1983 and was elected to the Colombo Municipal Council in 1987. In 1996, he was elected to a seat on the Western Provincial Council through a popular vote. He later joined the Samagi Jana Balavegaya under the leadership of Sajith Premadasa, where he served as the Boralla co-organizer of the party. An alumnus of Ananda Vidyalaya Colombo, Jayantha De Silva dedicated himself for over 3 decades to exemplary public service. His mortal remains will be kept at a private funeral home in Colombo tomorrow. On Friday, his remains will be moved to his residence in Boralla and final rites will be conducted at the Boralla Public Cemetery on Saturday.
Sri Lanka decides. Sri Lanka decides.
Presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anrukumara Dissanayaka, says the NPP government will put an end to the crossover culture and strengthen the law to remove MPs who cross over to other parties. The Rata Anurata Gampula rally was held at the Gampula private bus stand today. It was headed by presidential candidate and leader of the National People's Power, Anura Kumara Disanayaka.
Governments and leaders have been changed several times in the past. Today, the people of this country are not only demanding a change in government or leadership, they are demanding a change in the political direction, political culture, and economic direction. Who can create such a change? When looking at the other two political camps, their political power and strategy is to onboard someone from the opposition and announce it as a breaking news to the country. These crossovers aren't for the benefit of the people or the country. These are done for selfish reasons to exchange power. If a MP crosses over to another party, they should lose their parliamentary seat. Fraud, corruption, and wastage needs to stop to build this country. Scam and corruption was the main reason for the country's economic downfall. Only a NPP government will create a change that will put an end to scams. The spread of drugs is rampant in the country and the underworld is active with political backing. Over 40 to 50 years ago, we didn't have organized crime gangs in this country. Politicians created these gangs. We need a country free of drugs and the underworld. That change will be created by a NPP government.
This is not just an attempt to appoint another president. We are trying to appoint a leader who can steer the country towards the right path and put an end to the corrupt political culture. This is a time in which all of us should unite. This is our chance for the people of this country to take back power from the ruling class. We can't ignore it, claiming it doesn't concern us. We see crossovers in parliament on a daily basis. None of them are happening for the betterment of the country or its people, but for selfish reasons.
Opposition leader and presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Balavegaya, Sajith Premadasa, said that all the details behind the Easter Sunday attacks will be revealed to the people during an SJB administration.
The Samagi Jana Balavegaya public rally was held in Katunayaka today.
We have decided to implement a new policy. Who created the fuel crisis in this country? Who created the power crisis? Who caused the financial crisis by printing money? Who bankrupted this country? We must inform everyone that as a first step in Sajith Premadasa's administration, we will go beyond the Supreme Court's decision and formally disclose the identities of those responsible for the economic destruction.
Gotabe Rajapaksa Janadipativarya Satya Helidaraw Karanawai Kiyala apee rate
Gotabe Rajapaksa misled the entire nation, including the Catholic community, by promising to reveal the truth. His successor, Ranil Wickremesinghe, continued in the same path, doing everything possible to prevent the truth about this heinous terrorist attack from being uncovered. As someone who has been personally affected by terrorist attacks, I extend my condolences to all those affected, including the Catholic community and the people of this country. Through a transparent investigation involving both local and international experts, we will uncover all the details behind the Easter attack. Those responsible will be brought to justice and face the maximum possible punishment under the law.
The maiden rally of SLPP presidential candidate Namal Rajapaksa was held this evening at the Kadapanha area in Anuradhapura.
The rally was named Abhiyogat Abhiyoga Kala Adaraniya Namal Oba Venuwen, loosely translated to Namal who took on the challenge. Leader of the SLPP, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, also attended the rally.
අභියෝග වලට ආදරය කරනවා. ඒක තමයි මම මගේ තාත්තා ඉගෙන ගත්ත දේ. අපි වෛර කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට මඩ ගහලා පළක් නැහැ. අපි ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් එක දේශපාලනය කරමු. මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ
I love challenges. That is something I learned from my father. We do not hold grudges. There is no use of slinging mud at us. We do politics with a policy. I promise you all that I will conserve and improve the agricultural policy that was being implemented in this region between 2005 and 2015 and take it to an entirely new level. We will give the technology required by the youth. We will create a farming community that can reap more harvests from a small plot of land. We will link technology with agriculture. We take the responsibility of making your children rich and this country rich. For as long as we remain in politics, we will not allow the formation of border villages. We will not give land rights and police powers to provincial councils. We are direct with our statements. We say yes to what we can do and no to what we cannot.
එහෙනම් අපි පුළුවන් දේ පුළුවන් කියන බැහැයි දේ බැහැයි කියන විද්‍යුත් දේශපාලන බලවේගයක්.
ඔබද නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයා ජනාධිපති කරන්න ලබන මේ නිර්භීත
I believe that the decision to make Namal Rajapaksa president would be one of the most important decisions you will ever make in your life. Some left us and joined other factions with personal motives in mind. We do not blame them. However, one thing is sure, they will ask to come back to us one day.
විශ්වාසයි.
එපාද?
තමුන්නාන්සේලාට එපා නම් මටත් එපා.
They will have to come back looking for the people.
මං අහන්න කැමති SM චන්ද්‍රයල්ලා කැමති කොල්ලාවේ බස් එකට බෝම්බ තියනකොට කොහෙද හිටියේ?
I must ask SM Chandrasena where he was when a bomb was planted on a bus in Kabithigollava. Now he is saying that he is standing with the people. I must ask SM how he has developed such a sympathy for the farmers when back then he stole millions saying that it was for the production of organic fertilizer.
දයාසිරි මහත්තයා ගත්ත බාර 3 ගැන නම් වශයෙන් කිව්වනේ. දැන් චන්ද්‍රසේනලට පුළුවන් දයාසිරිත් එක්ක නඩු කිය.
Weren't the names of the 3 bars acquired by Dayasiri mentioned earlier? Now SM can file a case against Dayasiri. Ranil has the biggest crooks on his side currently. Who was the Minister of Agriculture during the period of organic fertilizer? Mahindananda Alutgamage, whose effigies were burnt by the farmers. Mahindananda Alutgamages. Well, he too is now with Ranil Wickremesinghe. Who was the minister responsible for throwing clay pots into a river during COVID? Pavitra Devi Vanyarachi. She too is with Ranil now. Various accusations were being hurled. Now it is the SLPP that is the most pure political party in the country. On the 22nd of September we will win. On the 23rd the parliament will be dissolved. We only have 30. When we bring 110 to parliament, we will bring 80 fresh faces. The SLPP will be the only party to do that.
චරිත 80කට මේ රටේ ඉඩ තියෙන එකම පක්ෂයත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොදුජන පෙරමුණයි කියන කාරණා මතක් කරනවා.
රාජපක්ෂ මැතිවරණට අභියෝගයට අභියෝග කළ ආදරණීය නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමන්ට
Independent presidential candidate Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca extended an invitation to factions interested in taking the country on a new path. He made this statement at a meeting held at the Kandy Public Market.
During the Aragala, you protested against all 225 in Parliament. However, I was fully supportive of the Aragala even from within the Parliament. The youth of the Aragala who came to meet me publicly and privately told me that if I am supportive of the Aragala, I need to quit my party politics and stand independently. To those youth, I must say, I am independent now. They can now join hands with us to embark on a new journey. I invite all those who gave their blessings for the Aragala to join us to take the country on a new path. I am the former chairman of the SJB, the second biggest title of the party. Everyone thought that I would stay quiet, support the party leader and eye the prime ministerial position after he became president. However, throughout the 15 years of being in politics, I did it according to my conscience. I thought that we were going to embark on a new journey committed to the betterment of the country. However, I have now lost that respect I had for the party. That is because of the party leader's conduct.
For a rich country, රට අනුරට ජාතික ජන බලවේගය. රටට බත සපයන රජරට තමුත්තේකම. කුඩා වෙල්ලන් කඩවල ග්‍රාමී ජනතාව. පිරිසිදු පානීය ජලය නොමැතිව බොහෝසී දුක් විඳි කාලය නිමා කරමින්. ගම්මැද්දෙන් පානීය ජල පෙරණයක් ලබා දුන් වගයි. ගම්මැද්ද රට නගන ජන පෞර.
A top US diplomat on international, environmental and scientific affairs has arrived in Sri Lanka for key talks.
The Acting Assistant Secretary of State for Oceans and International Environmental and Scientific Affairs, Jennifer R. Littlejohn, has arrived in Sri Lanka and she was welcomed by US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung. During her visit, Jennifer R. Littlejohn will engage with officials and partners, explore US-supported wildlife protection projects and discuss opportunities to connect Sri Lankan and US experts in hydrography, climate change and biodiversity. She will leave for India after concluding her visit to the island nation. The Acting Assistant Secretary of State for Oceans and International Environmental and Scientific Affairs, Jennifer R. Littlejohn, along with US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, attended meetings with Foreign Minister Ali Sabri and Presidential Advisor on Climate Change, Ruwan Wijewardena today. Posting on X, US Ambassador Julie Chung said that the US officials, including herself, commended Sri Lanka's commitment to 70% renewable energy by 2030 and its proactive role in global climatic initiatives. She further highlighted that the ongoing US support, including USAID Sri Lanka's work on power sector reforms and potential collaborations to protect Sri Lanka's unique natural resources, were also discussed during the meeting. US Ambassador affirmed that the US remains a steadfast partner, providing the latest knowledge, technology and resources to help Sri Lanka tackle environmental challenges and build a greener, more resilient future.
Neon and Echelon launched Shine 50, an initiative spotlighting 50 young women boldly making significant contributions and driving changes across Sri Lanka in Colombo yesterday.
Dubbed the Girls Who Run the World, Shine 50 honors women between the ages 18 and 35 for their impact on society and their role in driving changes across diverse fields from agriculture to art, business, social enterprises, education and many other fields from across the country. The Shine 50 list was compiled by the Neon and Echelon brands of the Echelon Media Group, supported by USAID. US Ambassador Julie Chung graced the occasion as the chief guest of the evening.
Now, the world is full of inspirational women, we know, and one who really inspires me, you may know of her, Malala Yousafzai. Her journey and her relentless fight for the basic thing of education for girls and gender equality. And while Malala is a courageous figure, there are brave individuals in every field, in science, arts, politics, architecture, economics, human rights, journalism, media. I meet them all the time, all around Sri Lanka. Last week, I met a young woman in Hambantota who is creating a handicrafts business from palmyra leaves with the help of USAID helping build her business. USAID has also helped a first women-owned business go public at the Colombo Stock Exchange last month. I've also gone scuba diving with Sri Lanka's very first female Navy divers. There were no female Navy divers until last year. And the three of them, we went scuba diving down together into the depths of the ocean. So there are women like these all over Sri Lanka and the world. And I hope that they are creating the ideas and the space for more women to thrive. A space that not only excludes women in politics, for instance, seeing 39 men running for president in a country and not a single woman. So let your voice shine. Let your voices roar, as Katy Perry has said in her song. We have the mind of a tiger, a mind of a lion. We will roar, we will shout, and we will make ourselves known and be confident. And so with your voices, with your actions, Make change, make good change for your communities and for your country. Congratulations.
This event was attended by leading figures from Sri Lanka's business community and civil society.
A US Navy destroyer docked in Colombo today, making it the second visit by a US Navy ship this week.
USS O'Kane of the United States Navy arrived at the port of Colombo on a replenishment visit. USS O'Kane, an All-Class destroyer stretching 154 meters in length, is operated by a crew of 328 personnel. The ship is under the command of Commander Richard Ray. Following the completion of replenishments, she is scheduled to depart the island on the 22nd of August. Earlier this week, USS Prudence of the United States Navy arrived at the port of Colombo on a replenishment visit. USS Prudence, an All-Class destroyer stretching 160 meters in length, is operated by a crew of 338 personnel. The ship is under the command of Commander Thomas Adams. Following the completion of replenishments, she departed the island on the 20th of August.
Flagship retail store of Canon Image Square was declared open in Colombo today.
Canon Image Square by Metropolitan Photo Hub is the sole authorized distributor for Canon cameras, lenses, photo printers and accessories in Sri Lanka. President of Canon Singapore, Toshiyuki Ishii, Vice President of Canon Singapore, Norihiro Katagiri, Chairman of Metropolitan Technologies Private Limited, Dinesh Ambani and many other dignitaries attended this occasion.
Canon and Metropolitan, in celebration of their landmark 50-year partnership, hosted a banquet dinner last night in Colombo.
As technological revolutions radically transform systems.
The event marked half a century of successful collaboration between the two industry giants, with a special emphasis on their shared achievements and future endeavors. The evening was attended by notable figures from both organizations. Dinesh Ambani, chairman of the Metropolitan Group, and Toshiyuki Ishii, president and CEO of Canon Singapore Pet Limited, were among the guests.
The relationship commenced with the transformation of electric to electronic. In fact, this is the beginning of actually the introduction of electronic to Sri Lanka. The relationship between Canon and Metropolitan stood resilient and unwavered. It is a reflection of the relationship between Japan and Sri Lanka, a solid ally and a friend for all seasons. I want to say that we are confident of things to come, a future that we all can say that we are optimistic about, a future in which, with the advent of AI, it will lead to a paradigm shift.
Together, we have been transforming the landscape of imaging technologies in Sri Lanka from the introduction of the first Canon multifunction device to the digital imaging solutions for customer, industry, and office.
A ceremonial plaque was presented by Canon to Metropolitan, commemorating their long-standing relationship.
Thank you very much. We are sincerely.
Ivar Maharuf, Deputy Chairman of Metropolitan, delivered a proposed toast reflecting on the success and industry impact of the 50-year journey of the Canon Metropolitan partnership.
Former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama called on the nation to embrace Kamala Harris in urgent messages to the Democratic National Convention that were at times both hopeful and ominous.
Barack Obama, the first president of color in U.S. history, insisted the nation is ready to elect Harris, who is of Jamaican and Indian heritage and would be the nation's first female president.
At a time when millions of our fellow citizens were sick and dying, we needed a leader with the character to put politics aside and do what was right. At a time when our economy was reeling, we needed a leader with the determination to drive what would become the world's strongest recovery. 15 million jobs, higher wages, lower health care costs. At a time when the other party had turned into a cult of personality, We needed a leader who was steady and brought people together and was selfless enough to do the rarest thing there is in politics, putting his own ambition aside for the sake of the country. History will remember Joe Biden as an outstanding president who defended democracy at a moment of great danger. And I am proud to call him my president, but I am even prouder to call him my friend.
Kamala has shown her allegiance to this nation, not by spewing anger and bitterness, but by living a life of service and always pushing the doors of opportunity open to others. She understands that most of us will never be afforded the grace of failing forward. We will never benefit from the affirmative action of generational wealth.
The fiery messages from two of the Democratic Party's biggest stars underscore the urgency of the moment as Harris works to stitch together a broad coalition in her bid to defeat Trump this fall. The vice president is drawing on stars like the Obamas and other celebrities, officials from the far left to the middle, and even some Republicans to boost her campaign. The first test of the three-match series between Sri Lanka and England is currently underway in Manchester. And after winning the toss and opting to bat first, Sri Lanka stumbled to 80 for 5. But however, before Kamida Mendis and Milan Ratnayaka showed some resistance. However, a short while ago, Sri Lanka were 226 after losing 9 wickets. And with that, we wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good night.